Hello, welcome to Industry Reactions. Industry Reactions is a weekly briefing on industry events, changes, and future trends that impact your business. We're your hosts, Jeff Martin and Mark Friedel from ChemPoint. You can find Industry Reactions on YouTube, LinkedIn, and as a podcast. For those watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and smash that like button. We plan on discussing issues that impact the global industry and help you uncover new opportunities. We hope this will provide market intelligence that will keep you ahead of changing market conditions.
All right, Jeff, and our first couple stories this week are into the growing industry and all the indexes being very positive right now. And the first one is the U.S. Chemical Production Regional Index. And for the month of May, it was reported that it has raised over 4.5%. Now that does follow monthly declines in April and March. A little bit smaller declines. A lot of that had to deal with the winter storm outages that we saw on the Gulf Coast, but pretty significant boost in the month of May. And similarly, the Chemical Activity Barometer had gains as well. Now they're already posting June numbers here, and it was nearly a 1% gain in June, which follows a 1.25% gain in May. So no surprise, the industry is going strong. It's posting a nearly 20% gain year over year. Now, obviously, last year this time, most of the industry was very hard hit by the pandemic shutdowns. But all indications are very robust right now, very strong. The CAB looks like it may be peaking out right now, but all indications are very robust growth right now.
Yeah, since it's the summertime, oil refiners really look at the summers to really pump out a lot of fuel, a lot of gas at this time of year. So we see, like in Houston and other refining areas, there's been a lot of focus on trying to get as much output as possible. Especially right now, it's very, very early in the hurricane season too. I was just looking at the news a few minutes ago. We got our first tropical storm hitting Florida. So the guys are really trying to cash in while they can to kind of impact the effects of that winter storm, and then try to get cash or ring the cash registers before the hurricanes come in. Kind of along the same line, we've seen rig count go up by 3 or 4 rigs this week. And so it's the U.S. count's up to 475. Only one of those was in Texas, I guess. But a lot of that slow moving of adding new rigs is because we're still waiting on OPEC decision of whether or not they want to increase production.
Yeah, it was pretty wild that OPEC has delayed its meeting. Meanwhile, yeah, crude oil prices just continue to climb. I think they're solidly over $70 a barrel, closer to 75, with all indication and predictions that it's going to hit 100 before the end of the year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they still hit that 100 metric. I feel like people want to see it around that $75, $85 a barrel. It seems like everybody's making money then at that point too.
Yeah, where it's not too expensive, where it prohibits and slows down the rest of the economy.
Yep. Well, kind of in more broad economic news, our chemical railcar traffic increased 5% year over year. That's over last week. And then it was down 3% if you look at year from the week before. And it's just slightly up over 2019 numbers. So if we look at 2020 numbers, that was all virus related. And so those numbers were way down, but it's about even with what we saw year to date with 2019. So I think that's a good sign that those numbers are holding tight. And like we said, that's a lot of impact on logistics. We know people are having trouble getting other packaging materials. So to see that number hold steady with the current upheaval in the industry is good to see.
All right, a handful of news releases this week for company announcement. The first one being Dow Chemical. They announced last week that they're going to be going through a number of I guess not major capital projects, but some minor capital projects to improve capacity, debottlenecking, and they're going to try to do a lot of these this year in 2021. Most of this is going to be focused on expansions on products like silicone elastomers. And I felt like a lot of the material that they're going to be working on is going to be tied into sustainability, the EV car movement, lightweight automotive parts, things like that. And this is all going to be specific to Dow's consumer solutions business. So some continued investment from Dow and really around improving efficiencies and expansions.
Next up, Olin says it's agreed to purchase and resell all the chlorine produced by Dow Chemicals in Ashtabula, Ohio. We've talked before how chlorine's really tight this summer, and how most pools and a lot of people's pools in their backyards are having a lot of trouble getting chlorine products. So hopefully this eases some of that. So Olin and Dow Chemical said they're going to honor all the contracts that they already have. This is really just a logistics play and helps reduce the number of miles that chlorine has to travel to get to their customers. And so it's also a sustainability aspects to it as well.
All right, moving on to mergers and acquisition news. Last week, a news story broke about Celanese and ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil will be selling its TPV elastomers business to Celanese, and most of it's going to fall into the Santoprene brand name, very large and powerful brand for this market segment. Along with it, the product portfolio, the brands, the intellectual property, all production and commercial assets will be going along with it. So pretty big news. A bit of a divestiture for ExxonMobil and a good pickup by Celanese.
Yeah, it seems as though this really builds out Celanese's product line and a lot of these medical and mobility solutions.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, Solvay has completed the acquisition of Bayer's seed coating business. The acquisition includes the entire seed coating and seed enhancement product portfolio and R&D projects for the on-seed formulations of Bayer's coatings in France. And so this is for international, for all their seed tolling business in the US and Brazil as well. Yeah, the seed coating business, there's a lot of technology and growth in that area about different things that people can put on those seed coatings and the way those work, and whether you apply it at the location or in plants to figure out the best way to put these seed coatings on. And so the financial details of this deal weren't released, but it seems that's a really growing market. So that's a lot of interest there.
It's definitely growing.
Nice one, Mark.
All right, moving on to Poland and Reichhold. A few years ago, back in May of 2017, when those companies came together, they were essentially their ownership was two private equity firms, Black Diamond and Invest Industrial. They essentially became partners when these two companies came together. Well, it looks like Black Diamond will become the sole owner of Poland Reichhold after they're essentially agreeing to buy out all the shares from Invest Industrial. So they'll be the single owner moving forward, and pretty big news. I believe since 2017, when these companies came together and these two investment firms came in, there's been some substantial financial performance improvements. So my guess is Black Diamond is going to be paying a little bit of a premium here, but they're going to be essentially the sole owner moving forward when this deal closes.
Yeah, so Black Diamond and Invest Industrial, those are two really big private equity players in the chemical market. You're always reading about those two, either buying something or selling something. It's they seem to be the 900-pound gorillas in our industry when it comes to private equity.
Yeah, those two, SK Capital, One Rock, they tend to get a lot of nods in our recording.
Yep. Well,
all right, that's it for this week's edition of Industry Reactions. We will return next week with a fresh batch of industry reactions. Until then, stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.